Hi everybody, this is Carol Ann Speaks, the state of our world on Friday, May 29th, 2020. So what is the state of our world? Well, the coronavirus is still with us, reigning supreme, very strong. We have surpassed over 102,000 people who have passed away from the virus, lots of cases, and still shortage of personal protective equipment, ventilators, respirators, and still people trying to make some money off this health crisis, this pandemic. Now, we have had riots across the country as a result of the murder of Mr. George Floyd in Minneapolis by a police officer. We have to honor the fact that an unarmed man was killed for no reason by a white police officer. And this has led to riots all over the country, not just in Minneapolis, but all over. So something really needs to be done to treat people equally, to give people equal rights, equal protections, and equal opportunities, and then maybe things will get better. Now, I personally think that everyone should have equal rights. It's time to do things right, and that's the way it should be. Now, the Supreme Court received a request to challenge California's limits on church services, put in by California Governor Mr. Newsom, to keep people safe, social distancing, wearing masks, limited amount of people who can be together in one place at a time. Very important. And some people in California didn't like that. They just wanted to pack the churches. Doesn't matter if someone gets sick, if someone dies. But the Supreme Court said no, they can't do that. They can't not have a limit on crowd size. And the California Church had argued that putting a limit on crowd size violates constitutional guarantees of religious freedom. And the Supreme Court rejected that. They rejected the fact that they said you can have state limits on attendance that will contain the spread of the virus. Now, there were 9 justices on the Supreme Court, and 5 of them voted to side with the state of California. You can have limits on attendance or congregations at church services for the safety of everybody. So there you go. Supreme Court did the right thing. Now, I don't know if you remember, Michael Flynn was the first advisor to Trump on security cases. And then he was no longer working for Trump. Now, phone calls he was involved in have been declassified, and say that Flynn was discussing sanctions with the Russian envoy at the time in late 2016 after the election, and Flynn actually lied to the FBI about that. So Flynn was charged, and now he's out. He's out of jail. So I guess it really pays to have friends in high places. Now, so what else is happening? Well, Trump is still saying that voting by mail is a rigged way of doing this. It's rife with fraud. You shouldn't vote by mail. You should go to the polls in place. Yet his campaign people have been quietly helping people to get registered to vote and to register to vote using an absentee ballot. So what can I say? Now, we have an organization called Facebook where Trump's people makes posts, and they want to say whatever they want with no accountability, but the head of Facebook, Zuckerberg, says he doesn't like recent posts from Trump, but he believes in free speech. But that's the way it is. Mr. Zuckerberg is siding with Trump, and what can we do about it? Well, unfortunately, there's no other social media application like Facebook. So maybe someone with a lot of money will come up with a challenge to feed Facebook that doesn't take ads, just have it as a way to share with others, with friends, etc. So now we have situations all over. Now it seems we have more tests, but probably not enough, and we don't have any centralized control of tests. We really need to have centralized control of tests on a national level. Everybody gets tested, and to have the virus, trace their contacts. If a contact has the virus, trace their contacts, isolate the person who tests positive, treat them, and get them well. That hasn't changed, but it's just going to take a long time to get all that done. So, what can we say? It's a very sad day in America that being in a minority, such as being an African American, can still get you killed for doing nothing. And it's a lot to say. That's sad to say that some social media administrators like Facebook think it's okay to say anything. Doesn't matter what the effect is. Alright. So, we're not going to solve all these problems tonight. I'm do this as a way of just making you aware of the headlines, and the issues, and my opinion. Well, you might not like my opinion, but I'll give it anyway. Alright, now, I think it's time for a little song to wrap up the evening. Alright, the song I'm thinking of singing is Danny Boy. Now, I don't know all the words, but it really is too high for me, and I've listened to different versions of Danny Boy by Andy Williams, by Maureen O'Hara, by Judy Garland. All too high for me. I have yet to find a version sung by someone who has a lower voice, as do I. So here goes Danny Boy. Give it a try. Oh, Danny Boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainsides. It's you, must go and I must bide. But come ye back when summer's in the meadow, or when the valleys are hushed and white with snow. Oh, Danny Boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainsides. It's you, must go and I must bide. Okay, I must bid you all adieu. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you for listening. And please do return again tomorrow evening for another session with Carolyn Speaks, the State of Her World. Okay, remember, take care of yourself, take care of others, and remember, kindness goes a long way, a very long way. Thank you. Good night.